Hi, I'm Riley Mann with the National Sports Media Association, and joined with us today is Eric, the 2023 Rhode Island Sportswriter of the Year. Hi, Eric. How are you doing today?
Doing great.
Awesome. Can you give us a brief introduction about what you're doing today in the world of sports?
Well, today is we are in that time of year where we're in between seasons in high school sports. So the winter season is wrapped up. We are on to spring, getting ready with spring high school previews, wrapping up our all-state winter selections, and doing kind of the little things that no one really sees. So it's a downtime, but it's still busy.
That's awesome. And do you only report on high school sports, or do you do other bigger areas?
I am the Providence Journal's main high school reporter, but when the call comes in to go do other things like college basketball or the occasional pro event, that's something I'm accustomed to doing. I'm whenever my boss needs, I'm sure to go and do. But it's mainly high schools from September to June.
Awesome. I read a bit about you, and I figured that, but I also saw that you covered a few things like here and there, other events. So I wanted to ask and see. I also saw that you won a State Press Association award for sports photography right after you kind of learned how to use a camera. Can you kind of explain what that was like and what the feelings were for winning that award?
Yeah, it was pretty cool in this day and age of journalism. You have to kind of learn how to. I was just thrown in the fire learning how to use a photo or learning how to use a camera, and it's a lot of bad pictures, and then every once in a while you kind of figure out what's good to look at. For me, I was in a spot where I remember the photo of this day where these girls had just lost a state championship game in like triple overtime, and I got a picture of this girl coming off the field, and she was in tears, very emotional. And behind her was the other team celebrating, and we put it on the front page of our local paper that day. We were just covered that town, and I remember talking to her the next year, and she said the biggest thing was she remembered she hated the photo at first, but then she realized like that was the moment, and that's how she felt. And I told her, kid, don't worry, if you win a title this year, I'll be sure to put you on the front page of celebrating. And sure enough, they did. But it was for
Oh,
me, not being a photographer by trade, it was really cool to be honored for something. And I mean, in the 10 years since I've won that award, my pictures have gotten better. My batting average isn't as high as a professional photographer's, but every now and then I knock one out of the
hey,
park.
that's all that matters. With that being said, can you relate this to how it feels to win this big award for the first time at the National Sports Association, Sports Media Association? Sorry.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to me because it's a lot of my contemporaries who are honoring me in this, and I for a while in my career I was big on some awards but not big on others. But it's always nice when you see people or see readers and they're like, oh, you do such a great job. But to have other people in this business recognize me for the work I'm doing, it makes me feel like I'm doing something right. There's so many things you feel like you do wrong in this business and in the day to day, but to see that my colleagues think I'm doing a good job makes me feel pretty good.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, congrats again. And I have another question about your process when you go to research stories. What do you decide what's important to include versus what's not?
It depends on the story I'm writing. A lot of times, the one thing we always try to tell, or I've learned is whenever you go to a game or something, you're kind of you just write the story the way you would tell it if you were just sitting down with somebody, and it helps you eliminate a lot of the nonsense. Luckily for me, I've been in the state for a while. I've covered the entire state. I've been at the Journal now for 6 years, and I have a pretty good. I have some knowledge about background, so I know kids who are coming up, and if I don't know something, there are people behind the scenes who will kind of fill me in on spaces I don't. But the biggest thing for me in researching stuff is it really comes from the trust that I've gained from the community, where they know that I always tell them I'm writing the story, but it's not my story to tell; it's your story to tell. So help me tell it, and
No.
it's really helped me. It's really helped me reach these kids, and they're able to open up to me in a way that I didn't think was possible.
That's awesome. And that sounds like you got a good community kind of behind you. That's very important for your kind of job. So that's good. And you said that you're kind of a bit like in between seasons right now. Um, with that being said, do you have any like upcoming stories or events that you're looking forward to?
I it's this time of year where we do all state. So honestly, my favorite part of the all state season, it's, picking the teams is tough, and we try to honor the best players in the state. We're a small state, but we do have some talent here. But my favorite event is we have these little photo sessions, and the kids come up to get their picture taken. And like, we've turned it in from this thing where the kids just go and they get their picture, to now we have like sponsors who, we have food for the kids, and they have goodie bags, and it's like, they're only here for like 5 or 10 minutes, but it's cool because like 7 or 8 years ago, kids weren't showing up anymore, but now they want to come and they hang out, and like we talk about, like, you get to kind of see them behind the scenes a little bit, and they open up a little bit more. But it's cool because we've kind of built this community now, at least with high school sports here in Rhode Island. So it's the games and all that stuff are fun, and I love championship seasons, but it's when you kind of get to see the kids, being themselves a little bit more than trying to be some persona they are on the field. That's really cool. So it's one of those events that I really enjoy it because it's easy and it's fun, and the kids seem to like it a lot.
That's super cool. Do you have any stories or any athletes that just kind of stick in your brain, or anything that comes to mind to tell about maybe something memorable or a story that you covered with a certain athlete?
Well, last year was, in the spring, I do a lot of softball and lacrosse mainly. And we have one of our reporters covers baseball. But last spring, helping out, I got a chance to see this pitcher, Alex Clemmy, who ended up being a second-round draft pick by the Cleveland Guardians. Yeah. And to see him pitch in high school was one of those things, like, I'm never going to see another high school player like that again in my lifetime. And I know, and I'm fully aware of it. I mean, you don't see a kid throw 97 miles an hour every single day. And just to see the kid do it, and to see it just hear the pop of the fastball and the buzz, and like, people were just coming just to watch him. They just wanted to see what it looked like. And it was really cool. And my favorite part, I built kind of like a cult following here in Rhode Island with my social media access. And I had to talk to this kid, and like, in my head, I'm like, this kid's going to be a major league. He's going to be a millionaire next year. This is so cool. And like, he was more nervous to talk. I was more nervous to talk to him, I thought, but he was more nervous to talk to me. And I'm like, dude, like, you're a superstar. And it was really cool to have that experience with him, to cover him, and to see what he's going to do. And I don't know how many chances I'm going to get to do that. So it was something I really enjoyed while it was happening.
That's super cool. That is a once in a lifetime experience. I'm glad you got to experience it, because that's awesome. That truly is really cool. And we have time for about one more question. If you have any advice for someone like me or younger people getting into this business, what would you say is your most important piece of advice to kind of getting our foot in the door?
I feel like versatility now is the biggest thing. And it's, yes, you want to be a great writer, but don't be afraid to pick up a camera, learn how to do that. You have to learn social media, and don't be afraid to do things that other people aren't. Like, you don't have to. I feel like everyone now, they're like, well, I'm in the media, I have to go on Twitter. You don't. Go and find other routes, figure out what your audience is and how you can how you can reach them. For me, it was Instagram. Once I realized that that's where the people were, I've just put everything into Instagram, and it's turned into something bigger than I ever thought it would be. And I think younger kids now getting into this business, they have so much more accessibility, and they understand how all the social media things work, and who can be reached by what. And I think if you can learn how to shoot video, learn how to take photos, and you can write too, it makes you an absolute weapon in this business. And if you can do that, there's not going to be a lot of people who can stop you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I'll make sure to keep that piece of advice with me as I continue this journey. Thank you so much, and congrats again. Have a great rest of your day.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.